All right, so in this box we have a new 48 volt battery from Enjoybot. Let's open it up. All right, and here's the battery. So this is their 48 volt 65 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. It has self-heating. Very nice. It has a continuous current of 120 amps max and a surge current of 500 amps for 3 to 5 seconds. All right, let's get a weight on this guy. And we have come in at 56.2 pounds. All right, now let's get this guy charged up. All right, so the battery is completely full. We've got the shunt hooked up, inverter, and the AC as the load. So let's go ahead and turn on the inverter. And then the AC is starting up over here. All right, and we are drawing about 880 watts, 16.9 amps. So I'll just let that continue on, and when it's complete, we'll take a look at the results for the capacity test. All right, the test is completed. I need to hook up a charger to this so I can wake the battery back up. That way I can connect to this and we can see the results. All right, there we go. Gonna turn off this inverter. All right. Yeah, so we did draw it all the way down to 0. So we did in fact get at least 65 amp hours out of this battery. So now let's connect to Bluetooth to the shunt. We can see how many watt hours we got. Okay, so we got 3.43 kilowatt hours. And 3,430 watt hours divided by the nominal voltage of 51.2 gives us 66.99 amp hours total. All right, so I got the lid pried off here. Let's take a look on the inside. All right, so we've got the cells wrapped in this blue shrink wrap. There's high density foam all around. Let's go ahead and try to pull these cells out if we can. Yeah, I can't really get it out. It's stuck on the bottom. But I think what I can do is cut this heat shrink here and maybe the cells will slide out. Pretty sure I've done that before. All right, so let's cut this open. There we go. All right. Wow. Now that's something interesting. We got like a 2-piece BMS. We got our normal BMS section here. And then we've got this little guy over here. I guess this one must control the heating elements. And then this is just the regular BMS portion. All right, so I got this part lifted up because I was trying to figure out how these two pieces work together. And it literally just seems like this is just a standard. This is actually a JBD BMS, by the way. So it has a temperature sensor that normally comes right off the BMS. And then this little heater controller also has its own temperature sensor. And it also has these two wires that connect to the BMS. And I think that's how it senses if the BMS has shut off charging. So I've tested it. I actually had to figure out how to test it because it makes it a little bit more difficult to test with it being two pieces and it having its own temperature sensor and then the BMS having its own temperature sensor. So I basically had to freeze this guy up first and then rush over here to freeze the BMS temperature sensor up. And what that does is that makes this one cold, so it knows it's going to turn on the heaters, but it won't turn on the heaters yet until this BMS turns off charging. So let me see if I can show this working. Alright, so we'll put that on there. And we'll turn the charge on. So the charger is on. And then so that's showing us the current going into the battery, and this is going to show us the current going to the heaters. So right now we've got, actually, let me get both of these wires. There we go. So right now we got 9.7 amps going to the battery. So I got to kind of do this quick. So I'll freeze this one up and then come over here and hit the BMS. So the BMS turns off, and now you can see that there's current going to the heaters. So we got 3.2 amps going to the heaters, and we can see that we are not charging the battery any longer. And then, okay, so this thing warmed back up, and so now it stopped charging the heater. Yeah, so it does work. It's just a two-part little thing here. I've never seen it before, but I guess it's just a little board to add the heater function to an existing BMS. All right, so let's take a look at the cells. They are prismatic. We have aluminum welded bus bars. The sense wires are all routed in between and glued, and then they're also in this plastic spiral stuff, so that's good. I think I do see material between the cells, so that's good. And the cells are just wrapped in banding. Yeah, there's the material between the cells. They got these little plastic corners here. I see a QR code here, but I can't really read any numbers or anything. Well, we'll see if we can scan it. No, not really catching anything with the scanner. Yeah, I'm not getting anything. So I'm not sure what these cells are. The wire is a silicone 8 gauge, 200 Celsius. So there's a double 8 gauge on the negative and the same thing on the positive. Alright guys, so I think that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about the battery. As always, I'll leave links in the description, and I'll catch you on the next one.